So with that mindset of natural pregnancy and wanting to do it naturally, I did a lot of things though that I think were above and beyond. Like, I got regular blood work done for my own purposes, mostly because I wanted to know how to take different supplements based on where my levels were, and I wanted to know what I needed and what my baby needed. So I got regular blood work. I saw a holistic specialist who could help me interpret the blood results in light of the different vitamins and nutrients that I needed. I went super clean, and that was really a God thing. God led me to stop drinking, start getting really intentional about an exercise routine. I was doing a 75 hard whenever I learned I was pregnant, and I continued it, I think, until 61 days. So I got very close to the end, and then I just got too tired. Because, you have to work out like 90 minutes a day. So I'm doing all this working out, wasn't drinking, and what else? Oh, and I had cleared my schedule, and I kept telling people, I didn't even know why. They would say, oh, when do you want to hang out? I had just got married like 5 months before, and I had become kind of a recluse and a little bit of a hermit. And people would say, hey, when are you guys ever going to get out? And, I hadn't fully adjusted to married life. We hadn't even finished moving into our house. And I'm one of those people who really needs my space to be put together and complete before I can venture out. Like, I need my routines. Otherwise, yes, I can go out, but it becomes a very stressful experience if I'm living in chaos and if I'm living in disorder. It's just very stressful for me to like get ready and do my hair and leave the house and then come home and there's like dishes in the sink and, stuff everywhere and boxes and all this. So we were finishing, but we weren't quite yet finished moving in, and there were major projects around the house that needed to be done. So I would just tell people, I just have a feeling I'm not going to be really very social until probably the end of May. And this is like July of the year prior. And people are like, gosh, Courtney, like, that's ridiculous. That's 11 months away. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry and I'm not sorry all at the same time, because I just don't want to get out anymore. So that was kind of a divine setup also, because by the time I learned I was pregnant, I had a clear schedule. And, 2 months prior, I had closed my cleaning business. So that was all taken care of. I was working for Brandon. 3 days before we learned that I was pregnant, I met my midwife at a business networking event. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. I wanted to be a midwife briefly in college. And I really looked into it pretty seriously. And then after college, I looked into it again. So I just asked her all the questions I could think of, living vicariously. And I love learning about different people's jobs and, things like that. So I'm asking her all the questions. What happens if someone poops in the pool? What happens if there's an emergency? Have you ever had anyone bleed out? Like, I'm just thinking of anything I can think to ask. And she's doing me the courtesy of answering. And I'm sitting out there smoking cigars, drinking. No, I wasn't drinking because I was on the 75 hard, but I was having a cigar. And she later told me she was planning on leaving. She did not want to sit outside with a bunch of people smoking cigars. And she just felt led by God to come out and get to know me. So I got her card and I kind of made a joke like, haha, when we finally get pregnant, I'm going to give you a call. Well, I call her 3 days later, because I took a pregnancy test just on a fluke. There was no reason. I had not even missed my period. And I just felt like I was supposed to take it. I cannot explain. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to take this test and you know, like, haha, you know, peace of mind, whatever. And there was no real reason, like, I didn't feel bad or anything. I did have 2 symptoms that I had not connected the dots, and that was I was drinking a ton of water. I thought I might have kidney failure. And I'm not kidding. Like, I thought there was something significantly wrong with an organ in my body because I was drinking so much, and I just could not be satiated when I would drink. And then the other weird symptom I had was a crazy sense of smell. And like, Brandon would go to the bathroom in the morning and I would just go into a rage. Like, oh, you're so inconsiderate. I don't know why you weren't doing this like 2 weeks ago, blah, blah. You know, well, I was pregnant. That's why. And so I'm going to keep an eye out for next time, because I feel like that'll be like my telltale sign of, I don't know, is it telltale or telltale? You get it, whatever. I don't really like that expression anyway, so I don't know why I used it. But I had this crazy sense of smell. Sorry, I have an itch in my nose, and I keep thinking, there might be a bug in there, but no, I think it's just a tickle. So, learn I was pregnant. I call Rachel right away, and she's like, I'm coming tomorrow. And I'm like, gosh, that's incredible service. So I'm like, cool. Then I text my other friend, Julie, and, you know, she had shared with me a lot about her own experiences, and her response was, hey, go get your progesterone and your HGC level tested immediately. She had known that I had had 2 miscarriages in high school and early college, and I never really knew why, but I guess based on her own experience, she learned the importance of getting these levels tested early in pregnancy, because when you get pregnant, you want those HGC and progesterone levels to, well, the HGC levels at least, to be doubling every few days. And that's the sign of a healthy pregnancy. And if it's not doubling, you're probably going to have a miscarriage. Or it could be like a chemical pregnancy. It could just be one that, like, your body thinks it's pregnant. I know that there's a number of things, and I'm not doing a good job of explaining it. The progesterone also is big, because I don't know if it doubles every day, but I do know that there should be a reasonable increase over a pretty short amount of time. And then the progesterone should be increasing through your 3rd trimester, and it only tapers off like right before you go into labor, like a week or 2 before you go into labor. So I get that blood test through my midwife, Rachel, and learn that my levels were not doubling. So I was able to get on progesterone shots early on and save my pregnancy. And I just felt like that was another divine intervention that I was super thankful for. So, you know, I mentioned by this point, I had been eating clean, exercising, not drinking, got on the progesterone, had my schedule cleared, closed my business. Like, there were a number of things that I look back and I just see God's divine timing. Like, oh my gosh. And then I later learned that if we had got pregnant any sooner, this is crazy, our medical sharing plan would not have covered it. So I cannot even tell you, we were like a hair away, and I thought we were in the clear, man. I thought, oh yeah, you know, like just 2 months, that's it. That's all. Like, we have to have this stuff for 2 months prior to conception. No, our medical share plan has more fine print. And I guess you actually have to have it for so many 100 days before, and I can't remember how many hundreds of days it is, but it's either like 200 days or it's like 150 days prior to conception. And that was kind of shocking, because I'm calling them and asking, and they're like, oh, we have to check and see if you're eligible. You haven't had our coverage that long. And I'm like, oh no, I've had it for more than 2 months. And they're like, read the fine print. And I thought I had, but it was like we were just in time to receive the qualification to be reimbursed for our expenses, which is huge.